I think it's just because I'm nervous. I just get nervous.
All right, you good.
Hi, I'm Candace Meadows, and as I've mentioned before, I've been there about a year now at my company, and learning everything's been like it's just a learning curve for me, learning all the softwares and different things that they offer. So I'm going to talk about Caseware. It's kind of a small internal change compared to what everyone else is talking about, but it was still a change for me. A little bit about Blackburn Childers and Segal. I'm going to call it BCS. It was founded in 1961 by Carl Childers Jr. and Joe Blackburn. They're both deceased now. In 1970, Charles Stegall became the third partner, which made it Blackburn Childers and Stegall. He still works now, and he's right outside my office. He's just like the nicest little old man ever. I have the best cubicle there is because he's there. BCS is 56 years old, and it's one of the oldest and most respected firms in the Upper East Tennessee. There's 3 locations now in Johnson City, Kingsport, and Greenville. And we cover a range of services from payroll to, of course, tax preparation, tax returns, litigation support, estate services, employee benefits. We also have a guy that finds insurance for you. So if you have any questions, I don't know if I would be able to answer those, but I can direct you to the right person. In a 2017 magazine article by Accounting Today, we were ranked the 16th in the Southeast region for in their annual review for the top accounting, tax, and consulting firms. And like I said, this is a small change, and it's internal between our employees. BCS is very welcoming to change. All of our partners are very good at letting other people take the reins and letting them lead, being servant leaders. We had a company-wide retreat back in the summer, and we went to Doe River Gorge. It was actually really nice. We all got to go hang out the first part of the day. We had this activity where we actually had the PALS CEO come in and management, and they went over there. They actually have an institution. PALS has an institution for like standard ways and like leaning down processes. So they came in, they're one of our clients, and they came in and gave their spiel on how they do things of leaning down processes and such. There we had we got together in groups of departments, and we discussed things that we thought had issues and what we thought needed to be changed to be more efficient. My department is called the Managed Accounting Services, so I'll abbreviate that to MAS. And we frequently discussed the software program Caseware. This is the unfreezing state of, which is the first stage of Kurt Lewin's 3-step process of change. We discovered it. Okay, so Caseware is a paperless storage software where you scan any documents to support financial statements that are periodically, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or annually. And there are also documents that support the tax preparation. It's basically our way of going green, not having so many papers. Don't get me wrong, we print lots of papers, but as far as storage, this saves a lot of space, and you can basically click it, ease of access, having it on your computer. Okay. The problem is that it was very inconsistent. Where we have so many softwares, people store things in different softwares, and you're not really sure where to find them. You're not really sure whether you should go to This software or this one, whether it's going to be in their U drive, which is their own personal drive, you can go to theirs, but this kind of is, we wanted to narrow down whenever we needed to find financial information or information for the tax return. The problem is that everyone had their own way to document files for their clients, and and it made it hard for whenever you're not typically in that client. It made it hard to find those documents or what information you needed to do if you were doing another project. So the solution, my MAS partner put together a diversified team of five individuals and to create a standard way of filing in Caseware. The first individual was himself, which I really appreciated that he was involved. Another member was from our tax department, so we had cohesion with other departments and they could incorporate because they need information for their tax returns. Another was a newly transferred member from our audit department, so he knew the audit side of to incorporate into our standard file. And then there was a veteran from the MAS department, and then the last member was myself, and I'm a new employee, so he wanted to incorporate my perspective on how I thought Caseware should be used. Okay, so his introduction, the introduction was at a MAS meeting, and he made the change to be effective immediately, and it was to be fully implemented at a date that he had later set. This is the second stage to Lewin's three-step process, which is the change state. This is a planned change. So execution is the third stage of Lewin's three-step process, which is frozen, where it becomes normal. After the change is implemented and set up, Caseware, whenever you have your files, after you roll it over each year, there's these placeholders where you can just drag your files into it so you know if you have a file there or if you need to put one there. Okay. So the negatives are resistance, of course, like everyone's mentioned. This was the number one complaint at our company-wide retreat, and many were resistant to the change because of the work that was required up front. There was lots of work to change the numbers to match the standard file. Basically, a lot of people had to restructure their entire file for many of their clients to mirror the standard file. So it was a lot of work up front, and it was very, very tedious. But after that up front, it was mindless. So, I mean, it was just a way of working itself out. Team members were single-minded. Everyone thought their way was better. It's the way that they had done it forever, that you just hear people talking about it like in small groups. A lot of people didn't mention stuff in the meeting of introduction, but of course they had an opinion, you know. And the way that our group put it together, we tried to incorporate how everyone thought, and I thought with the diversified team it made that a little bit better. Most of the single-minded opinions were the veterans, where they had done that for so long. And then there's uniqueness. No two clients are the same. Even though the standard file, it fills performance gaps and it brings awareness to the uniform information that's basic to all clients. There are still holes that each client are different, and there's no possible way to make sure that every client is fulfilled in the standard file. Okay, the performance gap, the positives is the performance gap. Nahavandi said that this is the most common force for the change inside an organization. The common ground is that even though each client is unique, the standard file gives clarification and attention to the information that needs to be in each file. It's concentrated. The file cuts out the unnecessary, so you know if it's not related to financial statements or tax returns, then it's not in Caseware. So overall, I feel that the change was positive for me and for the Mass Department. Everyone's different, but it gave understanding to what's supposed to be in the file. It saves time and more efficient. And then I liked it as a member of the team because I felt like the partner valued my opinion as a new employee and allowed me to express my feelings on how that was. After following the meeting, he continued to push, reminding everyone that this is the way that it should be done and to see it out going forward. Any questions?